Hello, 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 hello. Let's see. Am I up? Oh, yes, I am up. Good morning, everyone. Okay, let me detach. Good morning, everyone. Hope you all had a good rest. I'm starting a little later today. Hello, hi. Good morning. Good to see everybody bright and early. Yes, we're a little early. We have about 5 minutes more until the start. Hi, good morning. I see you, Chun Hong, Ziting, Shaden, Cheryl, and more are coming in. Great. Just drop me a note to say hi, and we will get started in about 5 minutes. All right, 5 minutes. So just keep your computers on. I will check in on the chat. We'll have a pretty short session today. I'm going to cover situational writing, and then tomorrow I will move into composition, right? So very quickly, check in, send a hi to me on the YouTube chat if you're able to. If you're joining in as a YouTube participant and you can comment, please send me a comment. Okay, great. Hi, Javen. Nice to see you. Good morning. Glad to see some of you online. So today I'll be covering a review of the formal situational writing format, and I'll be zooming in on some errors that you commonly commit. I've analyzed the 3 or 4 practices that we've done, and these are some of the more common errors that you have made so that you can be conscious of them and not repeat them on Tuesday when you sit for your paper 1. Tomorrow I'll have another stream at about 11 o'clock. Hi Jared. Hi Jancis. Hi. Okay, so tomorrow I'll have another stream and I'll cover some of the common errors that you make in composition and some powerful tips that can help you to make your composition stand out in terms of its content and to minimize any errors in terms of your language. Okay? Great. Glad to see everybody. I'm going to give everyone another 3 or 4 more minutes. Hi Reese, good morning. 3 or 4 more minutes and then we will begin proper. And today's topic is on common errors as well as a review of the format of formal email writing. Okay, JJ, great to see you. All right. Mr. Pang will go get a drink and I'll be back in about 2 or 3 minutes and we will begin. Okay, let me just launch the PowerPoint. See if that works. Yes. Okay, and let me just put the tab. Yes. All right. Okay. No, Jared, I will not be giving you any homework on Edmodo. I will just be reviewing the email, and optionally, if you want to write something and submit it to me, I'll be giving you some additional practice, but this is optional only if you want to, okay? So for those of you who are tuning in this morning, good morning. I'll be doing a very quick live stream today. I hope less than an hour, about 40 minutes, I would guess, on common errors in situational writing. Okay, so we've done enough practice, I feel, but this is just a bit of a review and recap. Okay. Sure, Cheryl, you can just do some practice and then you can submit it to Mr. Pang. Either you can email it to me or you can like send it to me or you can just do it through Edmodo, okay? So give me a minute, I'll get a drink and I'll be right back. All right, then we'll begin. Hello. Okay, good morning everyone. I've just gotten back. Right, okay. It looks like most of us who are able to be here are here. I'm going to get started and greetings to everybody, and I'm going to be going into situational writing, common errors, and I will be stopping at various points in this live stream to ask you some questions and review some content with you. So feel free to respond to me. Hello, Xavier, Charlene, I see you, Daya, welcome, okay. Right, great. So I think that we'll get started, and those of us who are a little late can join in as they come in. Remember that I will be posting this recorded live stream on YouTube as well as on my Edmodo channel. So if you missed this or you only tuned in partway through, you can always review the earlier content later on after I've edited the stream and I post it onto my channel as well as onto Edmodo. So don't worry about it, okay? Yeah, don't worry. Just go ahead and do what you need to do. At any point in time, if you need to take a break, you need to step away to take a drink, go ahead, it's okay. You can always come back and join in. Today, I'll be taking it very easy. I won't be rushing through. I'll be covering relatively little content compared to our previous live streams, okay? So sit back, relax, and happy Children's Day, everybody. Thank you for spending this next half an hour to 45 minutes with me. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to get started, and then along the way, if you have any questions about what I'm saying, you can type it in the group chat, and I will refer to it every now and then to check whether you are all on board and following my review of the common errors and the formatting of formal email writing. And this is to prepare you for your Essay 2, Paper 1, Situational Writing, which is next Tuesday. All right, so let's begin. Okay, so I have marked the last 3 or 4 situational writing pieces that you've done, and by and large, I'm pleased to say that you've gotten the format quite well. However, there are some common mistakes that run through all of your work, so I thought I would bring them all together and remind you of them in today's live stream. Okay, so I'm specifically referring to the students in 5A. Those of you tuning in who are not from 5A, I believe that these are mistakes that you would probably make as well, because at this stage, as you guys are new to the formatting, you may not be very certain about how to apply it. So I'm going to go through this as if you are making these errors. So first one, right? Remember when we start a formal email, we always begin with not a polite phrase like an informal email, but an introduction. So allow me to introduce myself. Many of you, comma, insert after allow me to introduce myself. Don't do that. It should be a full stop, not a comma. Okay, so allow me to introduce myself, full stop, right? Then your next sentence will contain your name and identity. So always identify yourself in addition to your name, because you're writing to someone and you need to let the person know why and how you were in this particular incident, okay? So don't stop with I am Edwin Pang. Always start, continue with some information about yourself. So I'm Edwin Pang, a student from Sydney Primary School, or I'm Edwin Pang, a commuter on the train, all right? And something happened on the train, you're a commuter. That's why you witnessed it happening, okay? So that's the first error. Do not put a comma after allow me to introduce myself, put a full stop. And after the full stop, always include additional information about your identity. All right, so I'm Edwin Pang, a student from Sinmin Primary School. Okay? Okay, all right. Hello, hi, John. Okay, so at this point, I trust that there are no questions. This is just a very simple error. Please don't put a comma, put a full stop after allow me to introduce myself. All right, then I am, and you go on with your name and identity. Okay, your name and identity. Later, when I go through an example, I'll show you how I bring all of these errors together. Okay, so I don't make these errors. Next one. I'm writing to inform you is always the purpose statement, right? I'm writing to either inform, or I'm writing to complain about, or I'm writing to commend, or I'm writing to recommend, okay? So all of these are the purpose statements. Now, when you include the purpose statement in the first paragraph of your formal email, always include the background, right? So when I say background, I mean where did this particular incident happen? All right, you don't need to go into specific details, but a generic statement like, I'm writing to inform you about your student's misbehavior on a train is important, because you cannot just write, I'm writing to inform you about your student's full stop, right? Then the recipient will be wondering, what is it about my students you are writing to inform me about? What happened? And you should not leave your reader second guessing, right? In the first paragraph, in the purpose statement, there should be a very summarized version of what you are going to be writing in the next two paragraphs. Okay, so in this case, remember the one about the two boys misbehaving on the train, you would go with this purpose statement. I am writing to inform you, right? So inform you, the principal, about your students' misbehavior. So I know it's a bad thing that they've done. Misbehavior, where? On a train. Then in the second paragraph, you will go on to elaborate on exactly where, which station, what time, what was their misbehavior. But in this purpose statement, I need the background of why I'm writing. I do not leave my reader second guessing. All right? Any questions here? Right? If you are clear about what I have said so far, everyone, please type in OK. Right, I know there's a bit of a delay, so I'm patiently waiting. Okay, right, good, good. I'm glad to see that everyone is kind of tuning in. Great. Oh, hello, Alison. All right, wonderful. Okay, so just to summarize, right, allow me to introduce myself. I am Edwin Pang, a student of Sin Min Primary School, so I must have my name and identity after my introduction statement. Then I must always give background. I am writing to inform you about your students' misbehavior on a train. I'm writing to inform you about the kind act I witnessed Sarah Tan do in front of the school yesterday. So there's always some kind of background about why I'm writing. All right, great, wonderful. Okay, good. Good work responding. Wonderful. And thank you all for being so focused and so on task in the chat window. I'm proud of all of you. Please keep the focus, and always remember, if you have any questions, just type in to the chat and I will respond to you as quickly as I can. Remember that there is a lag of about 1 minute between when I'm saying something and when you are watching me say it. So allow for that 1 or 2 minute delay when I respond to you. Okay, great. Right, so introduction, always with a full stop, not a comma. Your name and your identity. The background along with the purpose statement. And the next point I want to cover is your tenses. Okay, so there are 3 main tenses that appear in all emails, whether formal or informal. All right, and they are past, present, and future. Basically all 3 of the main tenses, right? So when do you use each tense? Basically, anytime you are narrating something that's already happened, you use the past tense, right? Okay, so I saw, I dropped, I forgot, I left something behind, I witnessed, all right? So all these things are in the past. What you saw in the past, what you witnessed in the past, what you observed, all in the past. Then your opinion is in the present, okay? So something like, I think what they're doing is rude and inconsiderate. I feel that they should do this, or I believe that they are wrong in doing this. So when you make a personal opinion, when one of the content points asks you your feelings about this particular action or incident that you witnessed, it is in the present tense because it's something you feel right now, okay? And finally, the future tense is used when you want to request or ask for some action to be taken in the future. So remember, we were writing the email about the 2 boys misbehaving in the train to Grange Station, right? Remember, we wrote in the last paragraph, right? I hope you can reprimand them, or I hope you can counsel the 2 boys so that they do not do this again. So I hope, I recommend, I hope you can, I hope you will. These are future tense markers that tell your reader that you hope they will do something in the future. Okay? Right? If the content is a bit blurry, it probably means that your connection is a little slow. Okay, so be patient, give it a little bit of time, and the text should become clear again. Right? So be patient. There's no need to comment in the field. There's nothing that can be done about the connection speed. Okay, so just be patient and try not to flood the chat group with comments, because if you all keep commenting on the blurriness of the picture, then the others will be distracted and they won't be able to focus on what I'm saying. Okay, so if you can't really see the text, just listen, and if your connection is a little laggy, just be patient. Remember, I said this in the last live stream, there's nothing Mr. Pang can do about the connection. So please don't comment on that. Can you keep your comments to the content that I'm presenting? Okay, and if you have any questions or uncertainties about what I'm saying, you can do that. Okay, the lagginess of the connection, remember, that's probably on your end. So that's nothing that I or you can do about it. So just be patient. All right, thank you very much. So far I've talked about the introduction, I've talked about the purpose statement, and I've talked about the tenses. Okay, so 3 more points, then I'll go into a model of something that would achieve a full mark in situational writing for formal emails. All right, so let's go to the next slide. Okay, so common errors part 2. Now, a lot of times when you are describing two things that happen at the same time, you tend to use the connector when. Now, don't do that, because when uses a sequential order. So when something happened, right, then something else happened. That's sequential, one after another. Right? That's not what you do when you're trying to say two things happening at the same time. You should use the connector as instead. Right? So remember the email we wrote about the librarian retrieving and returning our wallet. Right? A lot of you put, when I was leaving the library, I dropped my wallet. Right? That's not true, right? It's not one thing happened and then two things and the second thing happened after that. No, both things happened at the same time. As I was leaving the library, at the same time as I was leaving the library, I dropped my wallet. So use the connector as and not when two things are happening at the same time. Okay, so that's a minor point. Next, prepositions. A lot of you are making mistakes with your usage of prepositions. So I've summarized the most common ones: in, on, at, and during, right? That's what you use them for. So have a read, right? On, generally used for a specific date. In, usually used for the location, but sometimes on can be used as well, on the bus, right? On the train. But in the train would be more specific. I'm in the cabin of the train. I'm in the school library. I'm in the canteen. All right. And at is generally used for a time, a specific time. Right. If it is a duration, a period of time, then it's during. Okay. So be very careful how you use your prepositions. Right. And many of you, in the next point, are still using the inappropriate ending statement, hope to hear from you soon. Now, I don't want you to use hope to hear from you soon because it's casual, right? It's casual. It's kind of like you're talking to your friend. Hey, I hope you reply soon. Okay, I hope that you tell me soon. When you're writing to someone of importance, like the discipline master, your form teacher, or the principal, generally you would use the phrase, thank you for your kind attention, or thank you for your kind consideration. Okay, so that means that you are appropriately formal in your tone when you're writing to someone important, right? So you're thanking your reader for giving attention to your email, because your reader, discipline master, principal, is very busy, and to have the time to read your email in itself is something that you want to be thankful for. Okay, and of course, never forget to have an end purpose statement. Later, I will model this for you, but always end your email with the repeat of the purpose statement or with a reinforcement or an addition, so that your reader remembers that they are supposed to do something about what you are writing. Okay, I hope that you can reprimand, commend, counsel, okay, and always use the words I hope, because remember, you are of a lesser authority than the person you're writing to. You cannot command them to do something. So in a very polite way, suggest, I hope that you can. That would be a safe way to phrase it, okay? Right, let's see. All right, so this is the second group of common errors. If you are all okay with this and you have no issues with what Mr. Pang is saying, can you please just give me another okay? And I will wait. Great, thank you. All right. Wonderful. Good work. I hope you all can recognize some of your errors in these common errors that I'm sharing, and that you will be that much more careful as you are crafting your email. Remember, your email is going to take place in a very short time, right? 15-20 minutes, you have to finish this email. Otherwise, you won't have time for continuous writing. So having these things in your mind will help you to be a bit more careful and make less mistakes. That way, you will spend less time having to check and edit your work, and you have more time to devote to your continuous writing or your composition, which I will cover tomorrow. Okay, so far, great. Now, to end off today's session, I'm going to go through another example. You don't need to write this down, but if you want to, you can take a piece of paper and a pen and you can start to write this email along with me. Okay, so we kind of like go through the process, and you can also see like how much time it takes to work through very thoroughly a formal email. So I'll give you a minute. If you need to, take a piece of paper, take a pencil or a pen, and you can just roughly go through this exercise with me. Okay, so if you are going to get a paper and a pen, can you please just message wait, W-A-I-T, so that I can wait for you, right? All right. I think that most of you are just going to be viewing it, but if you want to go along with me and follow the process, just type a little note to let me wait for you before I begin. Okay, without further ado, and remember I'm trying to keep this live stream a short one so that everyone can go ahead and have the rest of your day as Children's Day ought to be relaxed and in a celebratory mood. So let's go on to today's model, okay? So today I'm going to be modeling a formal email and the process that I work through again, okay? Okay, JJ has a question. Isn't as the same as when? No. Let me repeat again. When you use the word when, it's going to be about a sequence of events, right? When something happened, something else happened after, okay? Hold on, John, I'll address your question later. Yeah, it will be about, it will end less than 12 p.m., okay? So back to JJ's question. When I talk about when, I'm talking about something happening in relation to something else. So it's a sequence, right? Let me give you an example, right? When I arrived at the scene of the crime, all right, the police had already left. Okay, so it's something happened first before something else happened. So when I arrived at the scene of the crime, the police had already left. So what happened first? The police left first, then I arrived. So it's 1, 2, sequence of events. First, the police left, then I arrived. When I arrived on the scene, the police left. So when always describes two events happening one after another and dependent on each other. Whereas if I use the words as, I'm trying to describe two events happening at the same time. So as I was polishing my car, a pigeon pooped on it. All right, so as I was polishing my car, a pigeon pooped on it. So at the same time as I was polishing my car, pigeon poop landed on it. So at the same time. So two things happening at the same time, as. Two things happening one after another, when. Okay, so I hope that explains it. All right, now let's go into the model proper. Okay, so let's take a look at this. All right, so I've extracted this from the internet. It's an example. I know that this kind of obscures the date, but the date is right here. Okay, so take a look at this for a minute. All right. Yeah, Alison, you can put thank you for your attention and consideration. Absolutely. That's very, very good. However, be very careful of your spelling because attention and consideration are both longer words. So just be very confident of your spelling and you don't make an error with either one of those words. Okay? Yeah. Yes, Alison. Absolutely. You can put thank you for your attention and consideration, right? And that's perfectly acceptable. Okay, great. So I hope that you guys can see this. Okay, so this is a typical email task that you receive. I don't know why the artwork is kind of like a little cartoony, but never mind. Okay, so imagine you are Peter, the prefect on duty. All right, write an email to the disciplinary master of your school, Mr. Tan. So notice that the recipient of your email is known, it's Mr. Tan, to inform him about the incident. All right, you are to refer to the pictures and information provided for your email. In your email, include the following information: date, where, 2 reasons, how Gina responded, and why you approached John and Gina. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right, so you can see from the picture here that this is kind of, I don't know if it's very well illustrated, but this is like a noodle stall. Okay. All right, great. Okay, so now I'm going to work through the purpose, audience, and context. So always remember, look at the task first and identify the purpose, audience, and context. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So who am I? I am Peter. Okay, that's my identity. I am not myself. I cannot use my own name. I have to use Peter, and I don't know why it's Peter, right? Okay, but it's Peter here, right? So remember, I'm writing to the discipline master, which means I need to give my full name. I can't just write Peter. I've got to write Peter something. Peter Tan, Peter Pan, whatever. Okay, Peter Pan, whatever. Okay. Right, so next I'm writing an email. This is my context, and it's a formal email because I'm writing to the disciplinary master of my school. That's my audience. His name is Mr. Tan. And finally, my purpose is to inform him about the incident that occurred while I was on duty. So that's my purpose. So context, email, formal, audience, disciplinary master, Mr. Tan, purpose, inform him about the incident. Okay, right. So at this point, any questions at all? Right. Be very careful, all of you, that you do not put your salutation as Dear Disciplinary Master of Simin Primary School or Dear Disciplinary Master Mr. Tan. Don't do that. Okay, the title Disciplinary Master is not required in your salutation. So be very careful. Don't do that. Some of you still did the Dear Manager of, don't put the title in the salutation. Okay, right. So back here. So after I've identified my purpose, audience, and context, I will go on then to identify the 6 content points, which must always be 6, right? There's always 6, and all 6 must appear in your writing. So date of the incident is 1, where the incident took place is 2, 3 and 4 are the 2 reasons why John is unhappy with Gina, all right? 5 is how Gina responded to John's comment, right? His complaint, basically that she pushed him out the queue, and finally, why you as the prefect on duty approached John and Gina. Okay, so these are very straightforward points, okay? And I'm going to show you where they appear in the text. So 6 content points. Always try to follow the phrasing of the question. So the date of the incident, just say the incident took place. Where the incident took place, where. Okay, so I'm following exactly according to the questions. I don't try to invent my own phrases, I follow. Because in this place, I'm trying to minimize errors. I'm not trying to display my creativity. Okay, so be very, very focused and simple in your responses. So number 1, when did it take place? 26 September, right? 2018 at 10:15 a.m. I know they didn't ask you for the time, but it's always good to add in that detail because it might be important to establish a timeline. Okay. Number 2, where did it take place? All right, it took place in front of, oh, I'm sorry, there's an error here, right? In front of the noodle store in the canteen, right? So it's right in front of the noodle stall, okay? That's where it took place. And then the two reasons why John was unhappy with Gina, as you all can see, the two reasons are number one, all right? John was shoved or pushed out of the queue, right? Gina was behind him. Gina pushed him out of the way because she wanted to go first, okay? And then when she pushed him out of the queue, he nearly landed on the floor. So, first reason, he was pushed out of the queue. Second reason, he nearly landed on the floor. So these are the two reasons why John was unhappy with Gina. Then, how did Gina respond when John confronted her? She accused him of lying, right? So obviously Gina is in the wrong here, and Gina is trying to push the blame back to John, right? And refusing to take the blame for her inconsiderate action, all right? And finally, as the prefect on duty, why did you approach John and Gina? Because they had been quarreling for some time, right? They were in front of the store, they were quarreling, okay? And so you appeared on the scene and you had to stop them, okay? Right, at this point, quite straightforward. Okay, right? No, 6 content points always, all right? Always 6 content points, all right? Always 6 content points. Never more, never less. Always 6 content points, right, JJ? All right, so quite straightforward. I don't think you all have any problems here, okay? So the challenge here is to link all these points together into a coherent email that can help your discipline master then take action. Remember, you are a prefect. You have no right to mete out punishment or to scold the pupils involved. That is left to the discipline master, which is why you are writing this email, right? You're writing to inform him so that he can take some kind of action. So remember, your purpose statement and your end purpose statement must reflect this. You must think about why you are writing, okay? So now let's go into the actual writing proper. Okay, so let me review the process. Sorry. I went through purpose, audience, context, my identity. Then I identified the 6 content points systematically and I highlighted it in the question, in the picture. Then I check that I have 6 content points phrased according to the questions so that I do not make any tense or grammatical error. I just follow according to the tense and the structure of the question, okay? Then I'm ready now to write, okay? So let's get down to writing, right? Before that, let's do this step by step. So what should I write first? Go ahead and type in what should be the first thing that appears in the top left-hand corner of my paper. I shall wait for your responses. That's right. And there is a particular format. Yep, that's right. There's a particular format for my date. Right? It must always be written in a particular way. Xavier, please be very careful. You missed out the date. Right? So there we go. That's the reason why we tend to lose marks. We sometimes are in too much of a hurry and we forget to write the date. So Xavier, please learn from that. It's okay. Mistakes now, better than mistakes on Tuesday. Right? Yes. Very good, Shaden. I think you've included all 3 elements. So since Shaden has mentioned all 3 elements, let's get down to it. All right? So date, 27 September. Now, I purposely changed the date to a day after the incident, all right? Because I would rather write this report on the next day, all right? You can, of course, also write 26 September, but in your email, you would then have to say today, right? So I'm going to say yesterday in my email to reflect the fact that it's a day after the incident happened that I'm writing this report, okay? All right, then I should have my dear Mr. Tan. Remember, the salutation is always the name of the person. What happens if Mr. Tan is not given as the name? If I do not know the recipient, what should my salutation be then? Please type it in and let me see. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Yes, capitalize the S, Jaden Liao, right? Okay, capitalize the S. Dear Sir, Madam, right? Shaden, it's if the recipient is unknown, it shouldn't be Dear Mr. Tan. It shouldn't be Dear Sir Jared and Jancis because I don't know the gender of the person I'm writing to. The discipline master could be a man or a woman. Okay, very good. Yeah, that's right. It's Dear Sir, Madam. And always put a comma after your salutation. Dear Sir, Madam, comma. All right, Dear Sir, Madam, comma. All right. So be very careful. Your salutation should reflect your audience, right? So if your audience is Mr. Tan, then it's Dear Mr. Tan. If your audience is the discipline master and you don't know the identity or the gender, then it's Dear Sir or Madam. Okay, great. Like Shaden mentioned earlier, after my date and my salutation is my introduction statement, right? Allow me to introduce myself, okay? The introduction and the purpose statement always make up your first paragraph for a formal email, okay? So always remember that my introduction, allow me to introduce myself, full stop, not comma, full stop. Allow me to introduce myself, full stop. I am Peter Tan, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's take a look at this, right? So according to what I shared with you earlier about all the errors, right, I have fixed them so that I don't make these errors. Allow me to introduce myself is a full stop, okay, over here, not a comma. I am Peter Tan, my name, full, not just Peter, but Peter Tan. My identity, a prefect of Sim Lim Primary School, right, this is my identity. I am not just a random student, I am a prefect. And then my purpose statement and background. I am writing to inform you about an incident which happened, and I'm copying this from the purpose statement, right? Writing to inform you about incident which happened where? In the canteen, right? So I'm telling my discipline master straight away it happened in the canteen while I was on duty. So I am a prefect, I am on duty, this is the background, during recess yesterday, and this happened yesterday, right? Remember my date, 27 September, so it happened during recess yesterday, okay? If you were writing around along with me, I hope that you are able to compare and see that your answer is as similar to mine as possible. So let me pause here, okay? Any questions so far? If not, then I will move on to the next paragraph. So remember, my first paragraph is always my purpose and introduction. My introduction statement, allow me to introduce myself, so on and so forth, right? And my purpose is I'm writing to inform you about incident which happened, okay? Can we write an argument, Shaden says, so I'm writing to inform you about an argument which happened or a quarrel which happened in the canteen. Yes, you can, but if you write the word argument or quarrel, then it's already being very specific, right? I don't need you to be so specific. You can just say an incident. Then in the next paragraph, you can describe to me this incident, which is a quarrel that happened between Gina and John. Okay, so Shaden, the answer is no, you don't need to, because remember, it's just like a summary so that your discipline master knows from the very first paragraph what the rest of the email is going to be. Then the details of what happened can appear in the second and third paragraph. All right? I hope that you all understand what I'm trying to say and Shaden's question. But it's a good question. Thank you, Shaden, for asking that. Okay, so I'm writing to inform you about an incident which happened in the canteen while I was on duty, when I was on duty during recess yesterday. So this happened, I was on duty, I witnessed it. That's why I'm writing. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the next paragraph where I include all the details of what happened when I was on duty, what I saw. Okay, so this is now paragraph 2. Paragraph 1, introduction, done. Purpose statement, done. Paragraph 2, I'm going to include the content points. Right, so let's go. Second paragraph. Right, so remember point number 1 was when it happened. So on 26 September, so I'm very specific. I mentioned yesterday, but then now I'm going to go into details, right? So I'm going to give you the details of exactly when it happened. So on 26 September 2018 at, remember on, at, the prepositions, at 10:15 a.m., I was on duty. Where was I? Where did this happen? In front of the noodle stall in the canteen. So I'm telling you where this incident happened. Exactly, where was it? In front of the noodle stall in the canteen. I saw Gina Tan. And notice here, I'm giving the full name of the student. Why? Because I'm writing to the discipline master and I need him to know who exactly the students are. And there may be more than one Gina, right? So I saw Gina Tan push John Lim out of the queue so that she could go first. So that's my first point, right? Remember, why was John unhappy? Because Gina pushed him out of the queue so she could go first. John nearly landed on the floor. That's my second point. My second reason why John was unhappy, right? He nearly landed on the floor. Then I copy or follow the stem of my point 3-4. Why was John unhappy? He was unhappy with Gina. All right, so these two things, push him out of the queue so she could go first, nearly landed on the floor, add to the reason why John is unhappy with Gina. Okay, and when he expressed in his unhappiness, Gina accused him of lying. So Gina accused John of lying, that she had pushed him out of the queue, right? So John confronted Gina, and Gina said, "You're lying." All right, so Gina accused John of lying, that she had pushed him out of the queue. So this was Gina's reaction. How did Gina react to John, right? So she accused him of lying, right? So this is my point 1, when. This is my point 2, where, noodle stall. This is my point 3 and 4, push him out of the queue, nearly landed on the floor, right? Unhappy with Gina. This is my point 5, Gina accused John of lying. And then this is my point 6. I approached Gina and John to stop them because they had been quarreling for some time. So that's point number 6. Why did you approach them? Because they had been quarreling for some time. So notice in the second paragraph, I have actually written down all 6 content points. Now you may want to split them up to leave some content points in the third paragraph, but in this particular email, I find that grouping all 6 points together is more logical, right? So you have to decide how you want to arrange, but 3 paragraphs, the second paragraph usually contains the bulk of your content, right? The details of what happened. So first paragraph, introduction and purpose. Second paragraph, most of the details of what happened. And the third paragraph, your polite statement to end, as well as your end purpose statement, what you want your discipline master to do. Okay, and let me just show this to you. Okay, I hope you can speak to the 2 students, right? So this is what you want, or you hope that your discipline master can do, and reprimand Gina Tan for her inconsiderate behavior. So remember, Gina is the one at fault, right? You witnessed it, you saw it happen, and you hope that your discipline master will reprimand her or take action against her or punish her for her inconsiderate behavior, so that such incidences, or so that this incident will not happen again. And then remember always to end with a polite statement. Thank you for your kind attention, or thank you for your attention and consideration. Okay, like what Alison was asking earlier, right? Then remember, because Mr. Tan is a known recipient, I know him, I sign off with yours sincerely. If I had used dear sir, madam, I would have signed off yours faithfully, and then I put my full name. Okay, there you go. The complete email written in less than 15 minutes, right? Because I started at 11:30, it's now a little over 11:40. So it's very quick. If I'm able to construct my points very quickly, it shouldn't take me too long to finish. Then I can check my work for errors, okay? All right, at this point, I am done with the email, and I have worked you through an entire process of identifying context, audience, purpose, 6 content points, arranging these points together, putting 3 paragraphs, getting into the components of what makes a formal email formal. Do you all have any questions? This should be quite easy for you by now. We've done enough practices. This is just a bit of a review. All right, it's 11:42, and I have kept my promise. I told you I would make it shorter than an hour today, and essentially, I'm done. All right, I've finished my content for today. So I will officially end my presentation right here, and remind all of you that tomorrow I will be doing another live stream, which is going to be about this length, on composition techniques, content and language. So if you feel like you need a little bit more support and you have some questions to ask, you can approach me. Now, if you want to do extra practice and you'd like me to have a look at it and just to give you my thoughts and a quick grade, you can send it over to me by email or through Edmodo, and I will gladly give you some additional feedback on how you can improve. But I'm quite confident that after today's review, you should be in a good place. You should be very well prepared for your upcoming exam for paper 1 on Tuesday. All right, so thank you for your attention. If you have no questions, can you just type out in the group chat, all is good, and I'll know that you have understood my lesson for today. And you can stay behind to ask me additional questions or to chat in the chat group. I'll keep it open a little longer, okay? Or you can log off after this. If you're all clear, all is good, then you are free to go, okay? Great, all is good. All is good, wonderful. All is good indeed. Great. Okay, you're free to ask me any questions if you wish. Great, great, great. Wonderful. All is good. All right. Okay. Bye. I'll see you guys. If you want to stay around and great, thank you. If you want to stay around and chat and ask me some other questions, unrelated to situational writing, can be anything else, please. Oh, okay. Mr. Hippo has migrated over to the other side. Yes. Okay. Let me see if I can find him. Mr. Hippo. Okay. Hello. Yay. Thank you, Chen Xian. Bye. Mr. Hippo's here, as well as Mr. Reindeer. Okay. Mr. Reindeer is a recent addition. Okay, let me just put them here. Okay, so I hope this has added some joy to you. Okay, there you go. They'll sit right there. I hope you can see them. Alrighty. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm gonna exit from this. Okay. Right, no worries. I hope this was helpful. Let me just check. Okay, yep. Oh, you can't see them. Okay, they're right here. Okay, yep. Okay, I hope this kind of gives you a little bit of cheer. Happy Children's Day. Okay, and I'm really appreciative of all of you putting in so much hard work. Okay. Yes, Alison, you can file this copy of the situational writing in your compo file if you have followed along with me and written it out. Good work, by the way. Such hard work. Wonderful. Good job. Love you guys for your hard work and for all of what you're doing. Okay, bye. Bye, Javen. Okay, any other questions? You can direct them to me via WhatsApp and all of that. Oops. Oh, okay, Joshna, sorry you missed it. No worries, you can always tune in to the repeat telecast. I will post it on my channel. I will make it public so that everybody can see it. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to inform all of you that this was going down, but you're welcome to ask me any questions after you've watched the video on situational writing. Tune in tomorrow if you want to look through some common mistakes, errors to avoid, as well as some good techniques you can apply for your composition writing. In between today and tomorrow, if you have some questions about your composition, if you're not sure about certain elements, please ask me and I will try to address it during the video, the live stream. If you can't make it, it's okay. I will kind of review everything, record it, and then I'll post it for all of you to see. Okay? Thank you all for your attention. I take it that there are no questions. Everybody's good. I will end the live stream here. Once again, thank you for spending the last 45 minutes with me on your Children's Day, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. Remember to have fun. After the exams are over, when our focus is back to the creative and back to the joy of what we're learning, then we'll do a lot more fun activities. I promise you that. Okay, and I will update you guys on what's going to happen in class. Okay, see you guys. Have a good day. Bye.